Welcome to Town Talk, the official podcast of Summerville, South Carolina, where we bring you the latest news and incredible guests here in Summerville. And today, I'm extremely excited because you guys might have seen Biscuit Belly coming in the corner. Well, we were able to get Lauren Coulter here, who is the chief
Biscuit eater.
Biscuit eater.
Yes.
For Biscuit Belly, and they are opening on the 4th of February.
That's right.
So we wanted to get a podcast in. But Lauren, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course. Thank you. We're so excited to be here, and we are literally right around the corner from you. So this was so easy.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to have you on the podcast. Talk a little bit about Biscuit Belly, the business, why you guys came to Summerville, and kind of what that is all about. But before we dig into all that fun stuff, tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into Biscuit Belly? And tell us a little bit about your role as Chief Biscuit. What is it again?
Chief Biscuit Eater.
Chief Biscuit Eater. Okay.
Don't you be coming for my job. No.
Listen, I might, I might like it.
Well, Chad and I were actually both pharmacists by training.
Oh, okay.
So I know it doesn't make a lick of sense. Kids, if you're listening, still go to college. It kind of helped us be able to have the capacity to do some of the things that we're doing. But we both went to pharmacy school, graduated, both took different roles in the pharmacy profession. My husband was always like, let's do a little something else and something on the side. And so we opened up one of these paint and drink places.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'm sure Summerville's got something like this, but we opened up one of those. It did really well. It was the first one like it in Louisville, and grew that a little bit, but recognized it to be kind of a fad.
Yeah.
So we made plans to get out of it, to sell it, and we took the money from selling it and opened up a restaurant. And it was a full service. We had 60, 70 wines by the glass, and it was just wine-focused restaurant. Delicious food. We met a friend, Tavis Rockwell, who has now become just the chef for all the things that we do. And actually, at Biscuit Belly, we have 2 biscuits named in his honor. So we have the Rockwell and the Rockwell Supreme, because he's who helped really design the menu for Biscuit Belly. But back then, 2014-ish, we opened up Luvino, grew that to 5 locations. And I'm telling you, like week 1 of opening Luvino, my husband and the chefs were kind of saying, we should open a biscuit place. We should open a biscuit place. And I was like, nobody wants to eat biscuits. You know, that where we're from in Georgia, like people love their biscuits, but they're very particular. So some people like them fluffy and some people like them this way. So I was always the one like poo-pooing the idea, but I started seeing some of these other brands pop up, and I think we were visiting Oregon and we saw Pine State biscuits and we saw some other ones, and I was like, all right, well, we opened up Biscuit Belly in 2019 and it went gangbusters, and opened up a couple more. Obviously the pandemic happened, so put a stall on some of the fun, but I don't know. It's been a wild ride, and
yes, it's since just 2019. That's
yes.
I mean, it's almost 6 years now, but that's still recent.
Well, and when you consider that really no development happened in 2020 and early 21, it really put a hold on things. However, I think it really gave us the time and what's it called? Like the capacity to be able to focus down on what matters. And so you had this time where you're not having to tend to millions of people coming in. So you could really hone in on the small things. So at the time, we didn't do any takeout. None. I mean, people would be like, can I come and pick it up? And we're like, no, we don't even have takeout boxes, And so we really honed in on, okay, how do you get this delicious, huge biscuit with fried chicken and gravy being poured and all these things on it? How do you get that from point A to another place and it not be weird and gross? So able to really focus in on that and really just help perfect menus, recipes, processes, the things that are so important. Experience, really giving us the time and ability to focus in on the experience that we want people to have. Whether you're coming in Louisville or you're coming in Summerville, we want you to feel like you are in a fun, uplifting environment, but where you're going to be taken care of and feel very warm and cozy. You know, this is breakfast, this is brunch, and we do serve lunch as well. I like to throw that in, but there's something about, you know, the smell of fresh baked biscuits that just make you feel, I don't know, I think people that don't get joy from that are just crazy. So
you're making me hungry just talking about it.
Yes.
But how many locations do you guys have?
This is our 14th.
14th,
which is, I know it sounds crazy, but we partnered with a couple folks out of like Alabama and out of Charlotte who they love being a part of early stage companies.
Yeah.
And they really, I mean, they've been the best sounding boards for like, how do we make this thing? How do we make that experience consistent? And so
keep growing it and growing it. Yeah.
The operators of those folks, I mean, I would put them up to any operator that I've ever met. This location, we're still, you know, we are all in on. And so, it's us, you know, my husband and I and our little team running the store.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be fun.
Now, before we dig into coming to Somerville and that whole discussion, is this the first one in South Carolina?
There is, so the group in Charlotte, who is part of the group in Alabama, they're like family members.
Yeah.
They technically have one in Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Fort Mill.
Technically.
Okay.
So, and I know it's in like
first
the Charlotte.
one in the Low Country, though.
Correct.
Yeah.
First one in the Low Country. So, for me, it feels like we're in a new, you know, Fort Mill kind of feels like part of Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, it's outskirts. Yeah.
So this is, in my head, it's kind of the first, but it is the second.
So, Somerville.
Yes.
We're super excited to have you and that you chose our town.
Yeah.
We love that. But why Somerville? Well,
You
I'm sure y'all were looking.
Yeah.
What brought you to Somerville?
I will tell you, you know, picking locations is so challenging. I mean, as an early stage person, you're putting, you know, my mortgage is on the line with every lease that we sign, you know, and so we've made mistakes and we've tried to learn from them. But overall, we are looking for areas with young families who have, you know, certain incomes and whatnot. But more importantly, people who find value and place a value on quality food. So to me, that means they're willing to pay a higher price for a quality experience and quality food. Now, you know, we do not sell 2 for $5 biscuits. You know, you look at our menu and we sell anywhere from a $7 to, depending on what you get, you know, up to I think an $18 biscuit. But
it's got to be loaded.
The $18 ones are so loaded. I do not know how people do
Probably
those.
what I'm going to be ordering.
The belly buster. But, you know, we are hand making everything that you're eating. So those biscuits are made from scratch every morning. We think having those quality ingredients that we can pronounce, that we know, you know, the handful of ingredients that we're using it's just so important to have a good quality product. And so we were looking for areas that align with that. And then I'll be honest, 2 years, summer before last, we actually, my husband and I were given this gift of a week without our child. And we came to Charleston for a couple of days. We love coming here, eating the food. I come here with girlfriends. You know, we find any excuse we can to come here. And he was driving around and looked at a couple sites in Charleston and was like, I mean, this would be great, but it's so expensive and all these negatives, and rode out and kind of fell in love with Somerville. Like it was a total, I think that it wasn't like, yeah, we should do this. It was like, hey, I like this place. I feel good here. And then it didn't hurt that we have gotten to know the CEO of Shuckin' Shack over the last couple of years. And we noticed there's a Shuckin' Shack. So he contacted Jonathan and was just like, hey, man, tell me about that store. And so that was encouraging because that's a really good, I don't know if people know, but like that's their top, I think, franchise location. So it does really well. I ate there last night. It was so good. So just all of those things. There's something also what we've found is there's just something to be said for your gut feeling of like, this feels right.
Yeah.
And it's so rewarding when then we're here and I'm out in the community. And I mean, everyone is so engaging, so talkative. I'm like, I feel like my family is here. And I said it this morning, like, I don't know if we found Somerville or Somerville found us, but I'm so glad that this has worked out. I mean, this is exactly what you want all openings to feel like.
Absolutely. And Somerville is, and anyone who listens to the podcast, they didn't hear me say it all the time. It's it's family oriented.
Yeah.
It has its small town, feel to it.
Yeah.
But we are also huge on our food.
Yes.
Okay. We have incredible breakfast, lunch, brunch places here in town, and just adding another one to the mix just makes it Somerville even more attractive because we people come here for the food. We want people to eat, sleep, and play here in Somerville.
Yeah,
and,
I love that.
And we provide all of that.
We had the Team 6 in today.
Yeah.
We've been, so this has been, for anyone listening, we've had our training team here all week, and they have taught, the 40 or so team members that we've hired everything. And part of that process is we make so much food. So, I mean, loads of people in the community. I've been running around and dropping off food places. And then we had community members come and pick up food, like for their team, or I took some to the hospital, and nurses and ICU and just stuff like that. But we had the Team 6 guys in. They are hysterical.
Oh, yeah. They're amazing. They're amazing.
So fun and engaging. And they're like, let's take pictures and do all this stuff. So that was very refreshing. Yeah,
that's technically our hospitality team. And I've rode around with them as well. And they're a good group of folks. They're great. But I'm sure you'll see them all the time. Our officers are in all the food places here in town. They love it. I want to talk a little bit about the brand, Biscuit Belly. I'm PIO. I have somewhat of a marketing background, so it's interesting to me. And I hope it's interesting to some of the community members. But what's the reason behind the name, the color, and all that fun stuff that went into it?
That's a great question. I should back up for a second. When we opened up the first restaurant concept, Blue Vino, it was very like, let's open up this wine place. Okay, what should we call it? And like, we had some margaritas, and we're like, we should call it this.
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't intentionality or a whole lot of foresight. We knew we wanted to serve good wine and we wanted to serve good food, and we pretty much, Chad and I are both the type, like, let's hire great people who do good work and let's let them excel. And, we love tasting all the things and saying, hey, we like this, maybe change this. But overall, it wasn't an intentional process. So literally, I made our first website on Squarespace.
Nice.
It was so tacky. Like, it was so bad, but
I respect it though. I respect it.
It was a time ago. So when we were talking about Biscuit Belly, I think the difference was we started talking about it. My sister always jokes that, y'all are talking about something when, it's going to happen now. But we took a lot of time to really figure out a name. I mean, we probably had a iPhone note going of 150 different ideas for names, and we would talk to people about them and get feedback, and then met with people that do this well, help come up with colors and branding, and here's what we want people to feel. What colors do we need to do that? And so when you come in Biscuit Belly, have you popped in there?
Not yet.
You should totally pop in. Okay, when you come in, it is bright. Lots of, navy blue, bright yellow. We have in Somerville this awesome shimmer wall.
So calm, exciting feel. So like uplifting, but somewhat like calming colors. Yeah.
And it's like the things we're trying to kind of get across, one of the adjectives is mischievous.
Mischievous.
And I love
Ooh, I
that.
like that.
Yeah, so we kind of have this quirky thing, about us, and we throw in a cuss word every once in a while, nothing crazy, but you might see them on some of our shirts and things like that. So mischievous, fun, exciting. So all of that was incredibly intentional. And it extended then to the food. We had like an initial menu, and we had friends come in. We did biscuit tastings, and they would poo-poo some of them, and these are great.
Yeah.
And then over time, what I love is that the voice that we created from the get-go, we've managed to continue to acquire team members who are really bought in and who are able to live and breathe that. So if you come in, you'll meet our director of marketing, and you'll meet our VP of training, who is they live, eat, and breathe who we are in this, in the brand space.
Yeah.
And so that's just, it makes it so easy.
Yeah, from the sounds of it, it feels like your brand fits into Somerville.
Yeah.
It's a small town vibe,
Yeah.
kind of quirky, like that Somerville in a sense too.
Good.
And being right downtown, it seems like it's a perfect fit, and that building is a great location too.
Well, and we learned, someone texted my mother that the building used to be a pharmacy a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah, and I remembered, I think my husband mentioned that to me. And so we just thought that was also serendipitous, considering we were, technically we've both been pharmacists. So it's just, all those things that kind of line up and make you feel like, okay, we're doing the right thing. This is good.
Yeah. And you brought up, some of your food and your items on the menu, and that was a perfect segue, because I definitely, want to talk about some of the food that you guys have, and some of your menu items and what folks can expect when they come into Biscuit Belly. So I guess in a nutshell, give us some of your top food items, what's in them, or on top.
Yeah.
And then what was in the mindset behind creating some of these menu items as well?
Definitely craft food, chef-driven menu where we're combining fun ingredients. But then also, our pimento cheese is Chef Rockwell's wife's grandmother's recipe.
Wow.
So, a lot of this stuff, we used to do a chocolate gravy. One of our stores still does it, but it was one of our chefs' grandmothers. And so just kind of doing some of those things that are delicious, and then kind of combining some fun flavors. So one of my favorites, if you like goat cheese, we have one called the Goat. For us, we are from Louisville, so we're thinking about Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time. And that was kind of in our brains when we were coming up with it. But it's goat cheese, a piece of fried chicken, and some pepper jelly, which pretty basic ingredients, but the combination of flavors is so good.
That sounds good.
We do one called Fire in Your Belly. It's kind of our take of a Nashville hot. So it's our fire sauce that we make with fried chicken and some delicious pickles. A fan favorite. So there's two fan favorites that I'll mention. The Rockwell Supreme, which is that's kind of like our standard. If you want to start somewhere, this is a good starter Biscuit Belly biscuit. It's a piece of fried chicken, over easy egg, 2 pieces of bacon with some of our gravy on the top. And it's, the over easy egg, it's beautiful because the knife goes in and the egg starts oozing out, and it's just a photo worthy experience. So the Rockwell Supreme. And then my other go-to now is huge. So I would say take a friend, get y'all one app and this sandwich, and you will be golden. But it's the Mama's Boy, and it's got a piece of fried chicken, pimento cheese, 3 fried green tomatoes that we bread. And let me tell you, if you bread, like one day of breading fried green tomatoes will make you so appreciate good fried green tomatoes. Holy moly. Fried green tomatoes and some pickles. And it's so good. The other call out I like to make is, a lot of people want to be more mindful around what they're eating from a meat perspective. We have turkey, sausage, and then we have a lot of options for vegetarians. One of my favorites is the Love Shack, and it's it's kind of a throw to, we're from Athens, Georgia, and, the B-52s were there, all the things. So some brie cheese, our house-made berry jam on the top with some honey. It is so good. So we get a lot of love from the vegetarians.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys are have a very diverse menu as well. Be able to kind of reach out to all different type of eaters.
Yeah, we
and
try.
I'll probably be in there all the time. You're right there, so I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble.
Good.
Now, before we go our separate way, and you got to go back and get ready for your grand opening on the 4th.
Yeah.
Talking about how you're going to get involved in the local community.
Yeah.
We talked about this a little bit. Somerville is a family-oriented small-town community. That's the vibe. That's what everyone's mindset is. So obviously, you talked about going around giving food to different businesses and the hospital and all these other things. What other stuff are you guys looking to do to kind of get involved in the community?
Well, I'll tell you, overall, when we've talked to our team members, I think it's important to have your giving reflect what your team is into.
Yeah.
And so for a lot of that is around food insecurity. So we do like to partner a bit with groups that are, helping with decreasing food waste or taking, meals to people that need it or helping kids who might not be able to eat as much over the weekend. So some of those things are pretty near and dear to our hearts. I will also say that, if anyone's listening, if we can trade you biscuits for a sponsorship, that's very up our alley in terms of, schools. We get asked a lot from school stuff. Happy to donate to teachers if it means, our logos on some students' T-shirts or something like that, whatever you all are doing. That's probably more up our alley, like the things that we are used to doing. Obviously, some of the little leagues and things like that as well. Those are pretty easy because the cost is relatively minimal.
Yeah.
We are a small business. We're not really somebody that can dole out $20,000 to be a gold platinum sponsor of X, but we definitely like to give back food where we can.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I think a lot of our community members will appreciate that and that mindset. And I think a lot of community members like myself do like some free food sometimes. So I'm sure they'd be down for a free biscuit here and there.
Yeah.
But it's really exciting to hear. And it's kind of the same thing in all your locations, right?
Oh,
kind of the same, getting in within the community, and everything like that. So this is not on my little question list or anything, but I'm just genuinely curious. As of right now, I think Somerville will be your most successful store.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
But as of right now, what is your most successful store?
Right now, actually, I think that it's the Fort Mill store.
Fort Mill?
They're killing it. But I will also say our original location in Nulu in downtown Louisville, it just continues to kill it. So
the original locations always tend to do real well too.
It's special. And our operator from there was here all week teaching biscuits. She was the biscuit teacher for the week. And for her, I think she comes in and she's like, this place is so beautiful, and a little jealous, but also I think it's really important to have that kind of legacy piece still be a part of, who we are here. Yeah. So it's a fun experience.
I love that. And your local government supports you. You'll have I'm telling you, all of us staff here, from police to our men and women on the streets, in the streets department, to us here in town hall, you'll see us all the time. We're always going and giving back and eating in the community, whether it's any of the restaurants here in town, especially walkable as well. Before we go, because I have another question I wanted to ask. So I want to make sure the community understands how they can best get involved with y'all. I know they can go and eat at Biscuit Belly February 4th, but do you guys have your social medias, website, everything like that?
Of course, we've got the usual socials. We are on Instagram at Biscuit Belly Biscuits. I think Our website, we have an app, so you can become a
great.
loyalty member when you
Just
first.
might have to.
Yes, I would, because our rewards are great, and they're very filling rewards. So definitely do that. I think the other little PSA that I want to put out there is, after we are open for a few weeks, we'll start offering our catering program.
Yeah.
And we have kind of a different style of catering. We do these bakes that are a little more, like, they're just great for big groups. And they're nice because it's a hot breakfast for your team. So if you have any catering needs that we could help with, down the road, I'd love to be considered for that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And especially for like catering and stuff like that, will you serve? So obviously you'll serve Somerville, but even the outside, cities and places as well, kind of travel around.
Yes, we do have limits, but I mean, really, we are the tops. Like, as long as we have a person that will drive it, we'll do it. So, and as long as we can trust that our food will stay solid, we'll do it. I mean, we have stores that'll drive an hour and a half, and I'm like, y'all are nuts. But
it could be that way if you're trying to drive downtown Charleston. At some point, it might take an hour, hour and a half due to the traffic, unfortunately. But no, we're really excited to have you here in town. Again, the location's right by Town Hall on Richardson, and it's incredible. I peek in it, because I drive by, so I definitely see the way it looks. It looks great, and I'm excited to try some of your food as well.
Thank you.
I'll be in there for sure.
Good.
Before we go our separate ways, anything else you want to share for our Somerville community who's listening?
I don't think so. Just thank you all so much for the warm welcome, and it's been really great to be around. I mean, I had on a Biscuit Belly vest 2 days ago, I guess, just walking down Main Street, and I felt like I was a celebrity. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I might not be able to wear these clothes out and about, so but it's been great, and I'm excited.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining the podcast, and everything we discussed, I'll go ahead and put your socials in the bio.
Great, thank you.
You guys can check that out. We'll put the website on the screen as well, and everything else that we talked about, we'll make sure we have in the bio. But until next time, February 4th, I think we're filming it. Was it January 30th? This is when we're filming. We're gonna go ahead and release this on the 3rd, so you guys are watching it on the 3rd. And the 4th is the opening, so go get some food tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right, y'all. Have a great day.
Thanks.